So with that said, let us get right into our Monday Night Raw review. And we start, of course, with the Authority, but with a twist, because Vince McMahon is in tow.
Well, not only is he in tow, but it's his music that plays.
Absolutely.
His music supersedes the King of Kings music.
You gotta imagine that rubs Triple H the wrong way. But the Authority comes out, and Vince starts off by saying, that things have been, in good hands since he left, and, the Authority took over. And, before he gets into the real meat of why he's here, he does remind everybody that the WWE Network is free all throughout the month of November, which includes Survivor Series.
If only the people that had already bought subscriptions would get it for free.
Exactly, right? Vince, when he starts talking about Team Authority versus Team Cena, he says he wants the next generation to feel power like he did when he beat the United States government and he drove WCW out of business. So he wants Team Authority versus Team Cena.
And he even had a fictional battle with God. Don't forget about that.
Yes. Oh, how we'd all like to forget. I remember some of those segments. But Vince says, it's time for Team Authority, Team Cena to get some stakes of their own, which is where we get to if Team Authority loses, they will lose their power. Triple H and Stephanie have a look on their face as if to say, we invited you here, what the heck happened? I thought we were all on the same page.
Dude, the thing that I'm most excited about this is when the Authority loses, and I am convinced they're losing, I hope Brad Maddox gets to resume his job as Raw GM.
I know, right? Order will be restored.
It'll be awesome.
So the Authority is crapping themselves over this prospect. But then the best part of this segment to me, and I'm curious what you felt about Ashton, since you're the mark between the two of us for this guy, but they're leaving. Dean Ambrose's music hits, and Dean Ambrose and Vince McMahon have a moment.
I know, it was awesome.
Dean's smiling at Vince, they're shaking it. I would have thought that a guy like Dean would have found a man like Vince to be the slimiest, scummiest thing to walk. And they're shaking hands, smiling, and trading baby pictures over here. And Triple H is just what the heck is happening? And Dean just glares at Triple H. It just makes me want them to face off at WrestleMania 31 even more. And then Dean gets in the ring to prepare for his matchup. So, before we get into the first actual wrestling match of the night, is there anything you want to say about this whole segment?
I have a theory.
Okay.
And if I'm wrong, I apologize because it's probably going to be offensive if I'm wrong. But if I'm right, I'm going to look like a freaking wizard.
Okay.
I think it is possible that Stephanie McMahon is pregnant.
And that's why Team Authority would have to lose their power so they could write them off TV so Stephanie could go on a maternity leave.
Yep.
Interesting theory. We'll have to see if that plays out.
I think it's entirely possible that she got knocked up the night of SummerSlam.
Well, it certainly would have been apropos considering everything going on, but I won't dwell too much on that. Just to touch really quickly before we get to the first wrestling match, there was a backstage segment very quickly. Vince, Stephanie, and Triple H, talking about how great it felt to be on Raw. Some tension seen between Vince and Triple H. Vince saying, "Hey, your tie looks crooked," and Triple H, I think, making a remark about Vince just pulling the rug out from underneath him with that stipulation. But Triple H tells him, we've got everything under control. Vince kind of gives him a look. Stephanie reiterates Triple H's sentiments, and Vince is just kind of like, "Yeah, I know. That's why I'm leaving. Yeah, whatever. I'm leaving you guys." So he gets in his limo and he leaves. And then we get to Dean Ambrose versus Cesaro, because this seems to be kind of like our TV feud that we're going with lately. Not really much to say here. I mean, Bray Wyatt is watching from the stage in his rocking chair, so that was one thing of note. A solid matchup, Ashton. Both guys got some good offense. Cesaro got a German suplex at one point. Ambrose did his thing with the lariats and the Bulldogs and his usual offense. I think the best spot of the match, I think Ambrose is going for a tornado DDT at one point, and Cesaro, power lifts him into the Swiss Death. But that only got a 2 count. In the end, though, I think Oh, yeah, that's right. Ambrose got out of a backslide, and while Cesaro was still getting up, Ambrose capitalized, he hit Dirty Deeds, and he got the victory. So, victory goes to Ambrose. He's looking to confront Bray, but the lights go out, and then when they come back on, Bray is missing from his rocking chair. So, this is becoming more about mind games right now than anything else. So, what did you think of all this?
Words. I don't even know, dude. It was... Let me just put it this way. And this is just another kind of step towards me plugging this past SmackDown. This match wasn't as good as their street fight.
Not even close. Not even close. I would definitely agree with you about that.
Yet again, we get an example where SmackDown is either a preview or a practice run for Raw.
Yeah.
Or not a review or a practice run for Raw. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? I know some people, like you included, because you expressed your reservations on the last episode of Raw Twit Wow about Ambrose and Bray. I've still got my chips in. I still think I'm going to enjoy it. Mind games are leaving me a bit perplexed, but I think that's how I'm supposed to feel. So right now I'm digging it. So we'll see.
Okay, let me just I really want to drive this point home.
Yeah.
Can we establish that Dean Ambrose has been demoted?
Definitely, without question.
That's really the only problem that I've had with the Wyatt Ambrose feud. I feel like it's going to kill a lot of Ambrose's momentum. And guess what? Who's stepping into the Ambrose slot in the main event? Randy freaking Orton. They're literally replacing Ambrose in the spot that he got the most over in.
Yeah, definitely. And we will talk about Randy Orton and Seth Rollins much later in the program. But for now, we have got Jimmy Uso versus The Miz.
This is so dumb. Why would you do this, WWE? Although I will say this, it's a relief knowing that we don't have to sit through another Usos Gold Star match.
Yes, absolutely. Well, at least not right now, and I'll get to why I say it like that later.
Yeah.
But you know what? I thought Miz and Mizdow were comical here because, commentary noted how those guys expressed to them how the Usos are just a bunch of dirty cheaters using twin magic because apparently they're the male version of the Bellas now and all that stuff. And I really don't even really remember much about this match. I'm just going to say that Jimmy Uso got most of the typical Uso offense, and Mizdow, actually no, Mizdow was a victim. He was a victim because Jey Uso super kicks him, which gets them booed by the crowd, which I loved. I don't know which...
and it should have. And it also led to The Miz taking advantage of the distraction and getting the skull-crushing finale to win.
Exactly. So you know what? Good for Miz and Mizdow, and I can't believe I'm saying that, so screw you.
Why are you so surprised at yourself for saying that, considering how much you love Mizdow?
I love Mizdow, but I remember even saying to you, I'm like, wow, I was actually popping for a Miz victory. Screw you, Usos.
That's just because it felt like a Mizdow victory, though, because it's like he's a martyr. He sacrificed himself for the greater good.
That is true. That is very true. So, great job there putting the Usos in their place. It's nice to see them get one in the L column for a change.
I know, right? Even though, of course, it wasn't actually a tag team match, so they couldn't take that credibility away from them.
Exactly. So... up next, I think we get like a little video package about Mark Henry and Big Show, just a recap of why Mark Henry turned heel, because tag me once, shame on you, tag me twice, that's what I do! So,
that rhymed at everything! My mind is blown.
Actually, I shouldn't even take credit. I saw that on a meme that I wanted to share with you, but I couldn't find the picture again, but the tagline was just so brilliant. So whoever made that, kudos to you.
I know. Holy crap.
Then we get to a matchup that would end up being my mark-out moment of the freaking night.
It was your mark-out moment of the month, I think, which doesn't really say much because it's only been November for like 3 days, but still.
Sheamus versus Tyson Kidd.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? Even outside, and again, we'll get to the outcome in a few seconds, this was a nice back-and-forth match.
Was. I was actually impressed that they were letting Kidd go this long with Sheamus, and then what happened, and my mind was just, I couldn't handle it.
Nobody could believe it, dude. Yeah, Tyson gets all of this offense on Sheamus, these kicks, getting him in the corner. He did one springboard drop kick that sent Sheamus out to the outside. He didn't tap out to the cloverleaf, which shocked the hell out of me. So yeah, they really made Kidd look tough. Of course, they still had to give him those heelish tendencies because they were fighting on the outside. And then at like the count of 7 or 8, Tyson pulls Natalia in to use as a human shield. Tyson gets back in the ring and he beats Sheamus by countout. Now I know, because I had some people when I was marking out be like, John, don't get too excited. It's just a countout victory. Look, I get that, but it's Sheamus. And it's Tyson Kidd. Like, you read this. You just read the headline that it's Sheamus versus Tyson Kidd, and you think you know where it's going to go. So the idea that they gave Kidd the W in any fashion, I think is something worth celebrating. After the match, of course, Sheamus has to be a douche muffin and a sore loser, so he bro kicks Tyson Kidd.
Yeah.
And, of course, that's got to leave Sheamus feeling a little sour, seeing as how he has to pull double duty tonight, and he's already lost a lot of momentum. So, yeah, Kidd beat, at least, while he still was, the United States champion. So, great stuff for Tyson Kidd.
Yeah. Now, though, the question has to become, since we already know that later on in the night, Sheamus lost his championship to Rusev, does Tyson Kidd still get a U.S. title shot? Or how does that work?
Dude, here's my thing. If you want at least my grim take on the situation, what's more than likely to happen, either on main event, SmackDown this Friday, or I'll even go as far as to say next Monday Night Raw, though that I think is a bit of a stretch. We're going to see Tyson Kidd versus Sheamus, the rematch, and Sheamus is going to get the victory, and then Tyson Kidd is going to go back to at least minor obscurity. He'll still probably make appearances on main event and everything, but those Raw appearances will become few and far between. Definitely Sheamus will still be the number one contender, and then who comes after Sheamus, who knows, but I can't see Kidd in line for a title shot. I would love to think about it. I'd love to personally see a feud between him and Ziggler over the Intercontinental title, but I don't think any of that's going to happen, so.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably safe to assume that even if they would put Kidd up against Rusev, it would end up being a 30-second squash.
Exactly. Like, there's no believability there, dude. And I love Tyson Kidd, but we gotta be
Which
realistic.
is crazy, because if you think about it, like, how much believability really is there in Sheamus Kidd?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, though. That's why I celebrated, even though it was a countout, because you just look at the marquee, you just look at the headline, dude, and you immediately think, oh, they're just feeding Tyson Kidd to Sheamus.
Right.
And Kidd gets the win. Like, it's crazy.